Hello and welcome to the latest X to Skip podcast episode. With me today, I'm your host, as we don't have Tommy, who is out of commission due to birthday celebrations. Happy birthday to him, and we wish him a speedy recovery. But I do have with me Kojo. How you doing?
Same old. What's up with you?
I am tired. I'm in that situation of you make plans for a day, the day arrives, and you're like, do I really want to follow through with those plans? But anyway, it is what it is. We push on and we do the necessary. So, with that said, welcome everybody, and let us get started with the show we have lined up today. Before we begin, as always, we start off with admin and announcements. Kojo, do you have anything you would like to share, video game or non-video game related?
Nope.
All right. Me, myself, and I'm at a similar state. Don't really have anything to share. Although I did come across something interesting. Let me get your quick opinion on this. Willow Smith supposedly claims her fame and success has nothing to do with her parents. What is your knee-jerk reaction to that?
Well, to be fair, I mean, her success has been pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? I wouldn't say neutral, but it's not been a blow up, you know, huge
Oh yeah,
success. Like, you know.
no,
So,
definitely not. But then I also feel like everyone defines success differently. So in the spirit of just giving it to her, like whatever her idea of success is, maybe, you know, having a viral or hit song here and there, or having been able to produce music, or having been on movies, or whatever the heck her idea of success is. She feels her parents had nothing to do with that.
um, I mean, maybe her parents gave her that initial boost, and then she felt that she maintained her success after that without relying on without relying on their name. Uh, and I don't know, maybe there's some truth to that. Um,
Nah,
I
it
haven't
might
kept
be
up
some
with her,
truth.
so I can't.
For me, I just feel
can't
like
say.
it's something I've recently been noticing with nepo babies, where they all say, nah, my parents had nothing to do with it. Where it's like, bitch, are you that disillusioned that you can't just acknowledge and be like, yeah, I'm at an advantage because of my parents' name, but I did run with it. It's not just everything I've done is because of them. They opened the door for me, and the rest was me. But now it's all like, nah, man, they had nothing to do with it. I've seen some hip hop kids who failed to get into hip hop say something similar. I've seen actors say something similar. Hell, recently Jason Momoa was praising his son, saying for being part of in June, saying, "Nah, he's out here acting with all these big names. When I was his age, I don't think I would have been able to do that." Was like, bitch, he's out there because of you. You're acting as if he had to work himself through the front door. Yes, sure, maybe he had to prove his value, his worth to remain in the room. But other people are not going to get the opportunity to even enter the room the way he got to because of you. But yeah, Nepo babies. They live in different dimensions. But with that out of the way, let's move to the first section of the day, the gaming news. So here, I have my share of the news, but let's start with you, Kojo. Anything you want to share?
Honestly, I have no news this week.
right? So I'm not necessarily surprised. It's been a slow week, a dull news week. I feel like of late, specifically 2025, we had a lot of slow weeks, random weeks where something happened, then back to slow weeks. And we're already halfway through the year. It's crazy. Because genuinely, since we've been doing this, I don't remember any previous years having as many slow weeks, pardon me, as we've recently been having. Anyway, on my side, it's small pieces of news to share. Specifically, let's start with talking about investment earnings or callings or whatever you call them. I mean, that's how slow the news has been. That I'm looking at investment stuff, which I don't typically do. But yes, we're in a that period of a year where companies are releasing some information on their performances. For example, we had Capcom showing the latest sales numbers with their franchises where the numbers have gone up. And one interesting area is, you know how once in a while we get, how would I say it? We get movies or shows or whatnot based off games, and we're like, who the flip was that for? That thing was so ass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in Capcom's case, it's the Devil May Cry TV show. I mean, Netflix show, where apparently a lot of people weren't big fans of it. I watched it. I was highly indifferent of it. It wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible. It just really did not honor the video game storyline properly. It's like them saying, you know what, let's change these things, and the things they changed weren't that great. But anyway, Capcom or Devil May Cry series saw a boost in sales, and Capcom contributes it to the TV show. And this is not the first time this type of trend has happened before, where The Last of Us, the TV show, boosted sales in the games as well. So a lot of people come in and say, what's the point of all of these spin-off stuff which have nothing to do with games? Well, this is the point. Not only does the new show, new movie, or whatever the spin-off thing gather a little bit of extra money, but it also boosts sales at a time when the game itself is pretty much dead. So expect this type of stuff to continue on in the future. And then with this investment call, we move on to Microsoft, who revealed that different segments of a company, especially in the gaming division, saw jumps. Sales increased, Game Pass increased, everything increased more or less by 10%, 5%, whatever percent, except for physical sales. That decreased. But nobody's really surprised in that area, and it decreased by 22%, which begs the question of what is the future for the physical side of Xbox. And although Game Pass numbers increase, specifically revenue, I'm hesitant to believe it because it was recently revealed that the way Microsoft looks at the Game Pass numbers is very fudgy. Did you hear about that, Kojo?
Repeat that again?
The way Microsoft looks at Game Pass revenue numbers is very fudgy. Like it's. Mhm.
No, I was just going to say, we've had this discussion before where we're like, they'll obviously big up their numbers and big up Game Pass, but in reality, we were skeptical about how successful it really is.
Yes. And for those who are not in the know, more or less it's what's the part which Microsoft does not count in their Game Pass, so that's what makes it profitable?
The sharing system? I don't know.
No. It was recently revealed, I think about a week ago or something, where Microsoft stated that there's a part of Game Pass which they don't include in their numbers, and that inclusion. I think it might be, was it first party games? Yes. The cost of production of first party games, they don't include it in the budgeting of Game Pass. And with that
I see.
exclusion, Game Pass is profitable.
I
The
see.
minute you include it, Game Pass is not profitable. So whenever they've said Game Pass has been profitable, they've been calculating it excluding that area. So that's why it's like, bro, what type of calculation is that? It's like, yeah, nah, if I don't count the amount of time and resources I put into this investment, it's actually making me back some money. That's not how it works, dog. So yeah, them saying Game Pass has been profitable and like they say there's $5 billion, something like that. I don't buy it. I'm not willing to include it. And like you said, Kojo, we've always said that it's a lost lead. A lot of people didn't want to admit it, but after the reveal of that information, they're like, you know what? Yeah, maybe. And also with Microsoft now releasing on PlayStation and all of that stuff, people are unwillingly seeing the light, seeing the sun for the first time. And with that mention of publishing on PlayStation, six out of, was it six? Yeah, I believe it was six. I may be off, but six out of the 10 top selling games on PlayStation have been a Microsoft Studio published game. So, for those who are lambasting what Microsoft is doing, clearly it's working. And with that working, we've been on this. I don't know why online people lose their mind, but we've been on Sony is potentially thinking about launching more games onto the Xbox platform. And I don't know why some people are losing their collective shit of, oh, I'm not going to buy a PlayStation anymore. No, shut the fuck up. You still are. You still are. We all know. Like, if Nintendo Switch 2 release showed us anything, is gamers are full of shit. They'll say, I won't do this. And then when the shiny box is in front of them, they'll do it. So shut the fuck up. You will still buy a PlayStation. You will still buy Sony games, regardless of what they do. It's not going to stop you. Same thing with people who hate on the Xbox. The minute the Xbox game is available, you're going to buy it regardless on what platform it is on, whether it's on Xbox, whether it's on PlayStation, whether it's on your PC, or whether it's on your handheld. And speaking of handheld, that's a nice segue to go into the Xbox handheld. It's been leaked. It was rumored, but now it's been leaked and supposedly confirmed. Microsoft might make a U-turn, we don't know. But the handheld is going to go for around $800, which is no surprise. It is a very powerful device, and to be able to release a device at the price of the Switch, you need to compromise on a lot of things, like graphical quality, like performance. Basically, when you play on the Switch, you're not playing to experience uh, a high performing, visually appealing game. You're playing for the innovation, for the fun factor. Hence why I'm not a fan of what Nintendo does, because yes, as much as I like fun, I prefer other things too, which Nintendo does not provide me with. But yeah, we'll see how that comes out, how that performs. Don't expect it to do that well, but who knows. Then, let's see, moving on. Kojo, you remember that Horizon ripoff game?
Light of Motorum, I remember.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know its name. I had to research its name. I just remember the ripoff. Well, I'm pretty sure you've already heard the story, but for those who haven't heard, Sony is suing Tencent for that game.
We'll see how that
Basing,
goes.
yeah, I think they have a case though. So they've been split hair on this factor where some people are like, oh, so when Sony sues, it's okay, but when Nintendo sues, it's not okay. People comparing it to Power World. And I'm like, it's not really the same thing, is it though? And Koji, you can play devil's advocate here if you so desire. But I'm of the opinion, and I'm not here trying to defend Sony, but I'm of the opinion that because the backstory of Light of Moritum or whatever it's called is Tencent pitched the idea of Horizon in Asia to Sony, and Sony was like, nah, we're good. And Tencent was like, all right, fuck it, we're gonna do our own then. And that's how it came to be.
Allegedly. We need to put that word there, allegedly.
Yes, let's put it allegedly. But anyway, so if you've seen the game or any trailers of it, it is highly inspired by Horizon, where the level up system, the combat system, the gameplay is all Horizon light. Whereas if I compare it to Power World, yes, it's inspired by Pokemon. You cannot run away from that. But it's inspired by Pokemon so much as, yeah, pocket monsters or friends or creatures you rely on. If Power World is a Pokemon ripoff, then is Digimon a Pokemon ripoff? That's how I look at it. And then also Nintendo suing Power World, it was Nintendo what's the word? Copywriting and trademarking certain things after the fact, then going after Power World as well in the whole messy situation. You're not seeing here Sony suing Tencent for breached copyrights or trademarks. It's just them saying, hey, your game is too much like our game. And the fact is that if they took some inspiration, like maybe the setting is like Horizon, but the gameplay is nothing like it, or maybe there's gameplay similar to it, or but the story deviates from that, then I would have been like, yeah, nah, it's not the same thing. But this is one of those horrible Chinese knockoff. Like, you remember that, Code? You remember that Last of Us knockoff game?
The one on the Switch?
Yes, which was just so disgustingly bad, and it was meme to hell.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, it's within this realm. So I feel like when you enter that realm, a company has grounds to sue. But when you've taken clear and obvious inspiration, but you're doing something else with it, nah, there's nothing to sue about. So I'm sorry to all the Nintendo fanboys out there who are butthurt, but it's not the same thing. And I don't know what it is. I don't know, maybe this world has always existed there, and listeners can be the one to correct me about this. But I'm suddenly discovering an online world where there are Nintendo fanboys who hate on PlayStation with a passion, where I'm just like, the fuck is this coming from? Like, you guys are the ugly step sibling where nobody really pays attention to. Like, continue existing in your goalless world. Why are you suddenly trying to be the child in the light? Like, it's always been PlayStation and Xbox competing for the favorite child spot, and of lately, PlayStation has just taken that birth. Nintendo has always been that awkward, weird last-born child, if I can even put it as the last-born child, who the siblings never pay any mind to. The parents love that child just because it's the last born and it's different. Although I guess, realistically speaking, Nintendo should be the firstborn child who's paving the way, and the other children are getting to experience different things because the firstborn was the experimental child. But anyway, ignoring the chronology of these companies, let's just look at the behavior of how the gamers treat these companies. Nintendo is that child which is just allowed to do as it please, but for some reason the fan base wants to be the golden child when you're clearly not the golden child. So that is just weird to me. I don't know. You don't indulge in in this type of stuff, Kojo, I don't think you would even be aware of the existence of this world. So I'm not going to ask you about if you've known it, because I already know the answer.
Hmm?
And then moving on to the final piece of news. This drags, but we had the Nintendo Direct.
Oh, I watched that actually.
I'm thinking now, should I really bother having that in gaming news, or should we put that in the gaming corner? Fuck it. Let's put it in the gaming corner. Yeah. So we'll stop there. And since Kojo, you watched it, let's connect over into the gaming corner. And can you tell us what has been happening gaming wise, or gaming releases, or anything else you want to speak about? Take it away.
There's just a handful of releases, like 3. So there is a game called Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings game, PC, PS5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch. It's a virtual life game, whatever that means. July 29th, 2025, currently sitting at a 59 on Metacritic. Next, we have a game called Time Flies, PC. Yes.
That score.
What, 59?
Yeah.
What about it?
It is low.
It is for a game, but I think I have never heard of this game. I don't know what this game looks like, so I can't opine. But it is a pretty low score. I'm not
Probably
gonna lie.
pretty bad.
Yeah, can't be worse than
Like
Gollum though.
I don't know about you, but for me, any game that scores below 75, I won't even touch.
I'm trying to think of a game that I played that was below 75 that I actually liked. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's one.
Like it might sound elitist, but I feel like 75 is a nice cutoff number, because you don't typically get games below 75. Like 75 and above, because I feel like once you enter the 70s, it's kind of like, this game's not for everyone. Some people will love it, other people be like, what the flip is this? 80 is, it's generally favorable. Most people will enjoy the game, and then 90 is the majority of people enjoyed the game. So 60s is like, yeah, the most people didn't enjoy this game. If you did, you're the odd man out. 50s is like, what the F are you even doing touching this game? Or I should say 50 and below.
Interesting.
So for you to say it's on 59, it's like, god damn. It's not even in a zone of maybe I should consider it.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know what type of game it is, but yeah, 59 is it's not great, is it?
Nope.
It's not good. Okay, next up, we have a game called Time Flies, PC, PS5, Nintendo Switch. An adventure game, July 31st, 2025, currently sitting at an 82 on Metacritic. And lastly, Ninja Gaiden is back with Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch. Action platformer, if you're familiar with the Ninja Gaiden series. July 31st, 2025, currently sitting at an 86 on Metacritic. So yeah, that's it for the releases of the week. And moving on, I guess we want to talk about the whole Nintendo Direct thing.
Yep. I haven't watched it. I don't plan to really watch it, because the original idea was, I'll go check it out in my free time, and I've seen the online reaction to it, and that has just like killed any interest in checking it out.
What are people saying online?
Well, firstly, the minute it was revealed that it would be a partner showcase, people lost some level of enthusiasm. But I'm like, what the fuck do you expect? Like, I feel like people's expectations have gotten to ridiculous levels now, where people are being spoiled, in my personal opinion. And I've seen it with the PlayStation Showcase, and we are beginning to see it with the Direct, because people have been guzzling Nintendo pipe for the longest time, and this is the first time I've seen people predominantly disappointed with a Direct. Usually it leans on the, no, I still liked it. You get some people like, but most people are like, it was still good. This is the first time I've seen majority be like, nah, this wasn't it, fam. But again, I say, for the longest time, I've been feeling people are just spoiled. But yeah, people were not a fan. They say that it was boring af. They felt like it wasted their time. They felt like there was nothing worthwhile announced. Wada. And it's one of those things of, if you have a specific game you look forward to, or some certain types of game, and people are like, maybe it was worth it for you, but for the general audience, it wasn't it. What do you have to say to that as somebody who watched it?
I mean, I like to watch as many showcases as I can. You know, I don't have a Nintendo Switch. I haven't played a Nintendo IP in decades, or over a decade, close to a decade, I guess. So I just like to watch, and I didn't know it was a part. First of all, I didn't even know it was happening until after it happened, and then I was like, all right, let me just go watch it. And then I saw it was a partner showcase. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's still cool. But a bunch of stuff is stuff that, you know, I guess people roll their eyes at, like Just Dance 2026. What's it called? They're releasing a bunch of the games are games that have already come out, like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and the Yakuza Kiwami and Yakuza Kiwami 2. Apex Legends is coming to Nintendo Switch 2. Star Wars Outlaws, and, you know, a bunch of that stuff. But they also announced, you know, games like Madden 26, FIFA 26, or EAFC 26. Let me say, sorry. You know, and Borderlands 4, which we knew was coming already. It was in the main Nintendo Switch 2 showcase. Shinobi, you know, and Chronos, you know, the New Dawn. These games are new games that are coming out, but I think the star announcement was a new Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection. That was the first announcement, and the last announcement was a new Octopath game, Octopath Traveler 0. So I guess, you know, when they said, oh, we have two last announcements, and the last one was Octopath Traveler, I'm like, I mean, Octopath Traveler has a huge following, but
I feel like it has a huge niche following.
Yeah. But other than that,
because I saw Keely's how did you rate the show thing, and guess what the majority rated it?
D.
Yep. Yeah, first time I've seen that from Nintendo. Usually Nintendo will get a B followed by a C.
Yeah, no, it wasn't
whereas
special.
PlayStation will fluctuate, sometimes D, sometimes B, sometimes A. Nintendo most of the times B, sometimes A, rarely ever D. So yeah, D was the biggest thing, followed by a C. I was surprised. I was like, oh, people really didn't vibe with it.
Yeah, I think it's because of games like Star Wars Outlaws.
But then I don't know what people expect. Like, I feel like people, is it Nintendo gamers, or is it just gamers in general who have this distorted view and idea of what gaming is supposed to be? We've been gaming, or maybe those of us who've been gaming for decades, who are much older, who have been seeing the trends of gaming, have a better understanding because we have a longer time span of following how games have developed. Because I'm seeing people complain about game length or development length, where I was like, bro, what do you expect? More money is being put into this stuff. The stakes are much higher. Like somebody was complaining online about how PS3's never took the length of time of PS3 development never took the length of time of PS5. And I'm like, yeah, PS5 is a more advanced console with more money put into it, obviously. Like, I'm not saying it's a good thing. I would like games to take less time, but there's a trade-off with everything. Like, that's the thing about gaming. And I feel like, Koji, you understand that when it comes to gaming, when it comes to games, there's a trade-off. If you get high quality graphics, the game is probably going to be short. If you get intuitive mechanics, the graphics are probably not going to be as high. Like, trade-offs have to come in certain regions and areas, because you can't have everything on a game. You can't have a game which is knocking your socks off in graphics, knocking your socks off in length of gameplay, knocking your socks off in intuitiveness, knocking your socks off in length of the game, knocking your socks off in gameplay in all these different areas. It doesn't happen anymore. Yes, you get those rare games, maybe a Death Stranding 2, maybe a GTA 6 and whatnot, that are able to bring in so many different variety and things that players like, but the majority of games are not going to be doing that. And I feel like gamers don't understand that. Gamers behave in this bubble where they think 3/4 of games releasing needs to be this type of innovative, whoa, I've never experienced this before type of game. And it's like, nah, the gaming industry has stabilized. We've long passed that era. That the last time we were in that era was PS2, I would say. PS3, we were seeing the end of it, and then PS4, we had few games which knock your socks off. What do you feel about that, or what do you think about that? Do you agree, or do you have a different take on it?
No, I think you're right. More, games are becoming more ambitious, more bloated, more money is being thrown behind these games, so they're gonna take longer. And obviously the consoles are more complex, so companies want to take advantage of developers want to take advantage of these consoles, so they are trying to cram as much detail and gameplay improvements to their games, like expanding on the NPC density, or little minute details that will probably like that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you go and look back at PS3 or PS2 games, the limitations were, they were there, so people knew, okay, there's a limit to what we can do. So I guess gameplay development went by faster. I don't know, I'm not a gameplay developer, but I'm just assuming that the more limits you have, that, okay, I can't go past this, so this is the tight restraints I have to work in. This is the small box, so let me just work within that box and things will go faster. Whereas if your sandbox is much wider, obviously things are going to take more time and become more, intricate and bloated. Not bloated. Bloated is not the right word, but bloated has a negative connotation to it. But yeah, I agree with what you said. It's money. There's money involved, so if you look at certain games like like at one point there's a game that Maxwell you never heard of, which was at one point the most expensive video game ever made, and it was a game called Star Wars: The Old Republic. That game at a point when it came out 2011 was the most expensive video game ever made. Do you know how much it costs to make?
I'm gonna guess $50 million.
200 million, somewhere there. Now, damn. 200 million might seem like a lot of money, but nowadays it's not.
Yeah, it's the average for a AAA game.
Exactly. Whereas back then, when people heard 200 million, people were like, what? That is insane. Although, without going too deep into it, yeah, that game, we could see where the $200 million went. That game was incredibly ambitious for its time. Even to this day, it does things that other MMOs haven't really done. But yeah, but, I just brought that up to say, back then, the highest cap was like this amount of money, and as you said, now it's about the norm. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Pretty much, long story short.
Yeah. Well, I'd just also like to add with that in closing that is a lot of people like, oh, we should do like Nintendo and reduce the price, the production price. Yeah, Nintendo's production is very low. It's like 50 million, 30 million around that. But look at their game as well. The game run off of the innovativeness. I've been looking at Donkey Kong. That game looks fuck ugly. But the gameplay is amazing. And that's what's carrying that game. But at the same time, when, like you said, Koja, about looking at limits, Nintendo sees that the Switch can't do certain things and like, okay, let's not try and push ourselves on these areas like graphical elements or how much foliage we can put in the area or how realistic this looks or the sweat beads on this and this. Our console cannot handle that. Let's just focus on the gameplay, which will steal the show. And that's what Nintendo has always been about. And then also with all this exclusivity stuff, people are like, yeah, Nintendo's not going to it's going to remain exclusive. Of course Nintendo's going to remain exclusive because like the showcase just recently showed, they get games late and they're getting games like, who wants to play these games years after the fact in their worst version? I don't. And Nintendo's not going to bring their games to other platforms because it's going to show, so what? Their games, oh, you can play our games on other platforms on a better platform where the graphics can be ranked up, where we can do more things on another platform? Fuck no, that would just cannibalize their own sales. It makes sense for PlayStation and for Xbox because their boxes are more or less the same. The differences are minute. So it's like the best experience is on either platform. Yes, maybe the Xbox will beat out the PlayStation by a few frame rates or vice versa. But it's not so significant that it's going to make the difference in your purchasing decision. Whereas with Nintendo, if they ever decided to release their thing on another box, PC or PlayStation or Xbox, you will clearly see how inferior their games are, where it's just like, fuck, what the fuck is this? So no, Nintendo will happily stick to exclusives because the exclusives push out their box. But yeah, that's my spiel. So anything else, or is that it?
From the gaming corner, I think that's it.
All right, then we wrap up the gaming corner and then we reach the middle point of the show where, if you're still with us, thanks for being here and we appreciate the support. You can go ahead and like and subscribe to help us reach more people, to help these videos reach more people, and to have more people hate on us. Because hey man, the hating is real. But whatever it is, we appreciate those of you who are out there listening. Wada, and let's keep this show going. So next we have the content creator segment. Kojo, any content creator news that you've come upon?
Just a couple. Do you have any?
Nah, you know me. I'm always in the dark about this unless one of you guys mentioned something which I saw in passing.
Okay. All right, just a couple of things. Let me not go too deep into words. So, everybody, let's get started. So, Ibai is one of the biggest, if not probably the biggest, well, one of the biggest Twitch streamers / content creators on the platform or in the world. He is Spanish, I believe, Spanish streamer, and his events
Oh,
pull in. Yeah,
is he the
I think you
dude who
know. Mhm.
does those big Twitch events, which are always like some of the biggest viewed stuff?
Yep. So he
Yeah,
has his.
I
Mhm.
clicked when you said
Mhm.
Spanish.
Yeah. So we've spoken about him in previous years because of the events or his break records. So his La Velada del Año 5, the fifth edition of his annual influencer boxing event, took place, and it hit a peak concurrent viewership of more than 9.3 million viewers on his official broadcast of the event. And I believe there were other people who were watch partying. I could be wrong though. But yeah, his main stream, 9.3 million. I think that is a new record. The previous record was his own record. So shout out to Ibai. He just keeps pushing it, man. And the event in person was also huge. A lot of people showed up in person. So yeah, that's it for the Ibai parts. Now let's move on to Maxwell, your favorite content creator group organization. I am, of course, talking
I've
about
got
FaZe
to.
Clan. I'm talking about FaZe. You know
Okay.
FaZe, Maxwell.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if you've ever heard of their owner or CEO head, FaZe Banks. Um,
I've maybe heard of him. I have no idea because all these people just put FaZe in their names, and for me, whenever I hear of them, I just hear FaZe and then the following name, which is their real name. It just blank. It's like Google blah blah it's blah 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 in my brain.
I'm sure you've seen, that's funny, but I'm sure you've seen what he looks like. So
I
he,
highly doubt it.
you'll be surprised. So he has come under fire recently because he has been accused of allegedly, guess what?
Diddling minors.
No, I knew you were gonna go there, but no. What? I'll give you a hint. What are most, like, let's say a content creator blows up or a content creator has been there for a while. In recent years, what is one avenue they've gone down where people always fall for?
Hey man, it's diddling minors.
No. They've often done something and their followers are like, oh, let me do that as well. And their followers just end up losing everything.
Meme coining.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So, he, FaZe Banks, or Richard Banks Bankston, or let's just call him FaZe Banks, he
Wait,
has
wait, wait,
been.
wait, 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 wait. Wasn't there some FaZe people who originally caught up with some fraudulent stuff?
Yeah, the save the kids took, that was years ago.
Yeah. So this dude, knowing people from his own organization did stuff like that, he still decided to approach this area.
Well, let's continue the story. Let's go through the story together. So, he has been accused of scamming fans through MLG coin, which is a meme crypto coin. However, he has come out and said that wasn't him. He never did that. So he said, and I quote, "I've never scammed anyone a day in my effing life." And he went on to say, you know, and I quote, "The fact that this is affecting the guys at all," the guys being the whole FaZe Clan crew, "the guys at all is whack. So for the time being, I'm going to be stepping away from not only FaZe, but all of this internet S word. It's destroying my life inside and out," end quote. So this is huge. Bombshell.
This reeks of I did not have cunnilingus with that woman type of level.
Yeah. And so that's what FaZe Banks said. He said, he did not scam anyone. So following the promotion, the coin's value skyrocketed from $3 million to $150 million in 5 days. And then a rug pull happened, I believe. So, yeah, exactly. So, in addition to people accusing FaZe Banks, content creator Aiden Ross has also been, said that he has promoted the cryptocurrency as well. So, with FaZe Banks saying that
this guy mind his own business.
Who, Aiden?
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, content creators, do they ever mind their own business? Some do.
True.
A lot of them don't.
But I feel like this dude makes his name by just putting in his opinion in everything that he can.
Yep.
But no, true. As you were.
True. But yeah, so Banks, him saying he's stepping away from, his role as CEO was a bit of a shock for people. And he went on to say, and I quote, "Sucks my entire life gets ruined over something I didn't even do. The real ones know. I wish I could say I'll be back, but I really don't know if I will." End quote. So Banks, I mean, he's been the forefront of FaZe Clan. He was there when it was founded in 2010. And it started off as a group of people doing trick shots on Call of Duty. And now it's blown up into this huge organization that spans multiple esports, multiple brand deals, multiple magazine covers, multiple content creators. Like, it's a huge brand now. A lot of people know FaZe Clan, like FaZe Up, So, yeah, interesting stuff. But yeah, that's it for my content creator news.
My God, what you said you had a couple.
Yeah, the first one was Ibai.
Yeah, so you had some, not a couple.
A couple is two, nigga.
We have different definitions of a couple.
Maxwell, when someone is dating and they say, "Oh, they're a couple," what are they?
Okay, you've got me there. However, when people say a couple of things, it doesn't mean two things. It means a grouping of things.
Man, it's literally two things. But anyway, semantics. But yes, okay, I had some things. God.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's better.
Anyway. But yeah, that's my stuff.
All right. Well, as we said, I don't have anything to add to that area, so let's move on to the esports section. And again, starting with myself, nada, nothing, zero, zilch. How about you, Colby?
I have got some things, since I can't say a couple. I've got some things.
Yeah, that's better.
So,
set expectations right.
Please. So, there's this. Not this, but yeah. So, I know you don't follow esports, but I'm sure you've heard this name many times from Tammy or from his many. I feel like every time the Game Awards happen, he's always nominated for Esports Player of the Year and he always wins. I feel like that always happens. But anyway, I'm of course talking about League of Legends player Lee Sang-hyuk, better known as Faker. So, in a video,
basically the only name I know from that entire franchise.
Yeah, he's the guy. So he is playing for a team called T1, Korean team, I believe. And they announced that he's extending his contract until 2029, which has made him, or is going to make him, or is making him, one of the longest active esports players of all time. So, yeah, shout outs to you, Faker. You go, man. You get that bag. Or play for the love of it. Either one is fine. And lastly, I just want to go over some winners of the more esports esports World Cup games. So Free Fire, I think I talked about Free Fire, but I can't remember. Anyway, Free Fire. First place was Evo's Esports. Second place was Rex Regam Kion. Third place was Team Vitality. StarCraft 2. First place was Cero. Second place was Classic. Third place was Cure. In Honor of Kings, first place was AGAL. Second place was TT Global. Third place was Nova Esports. And lastly, Call of Duty. First place was Optic. Second place was Vancouver Surge. Third place was Movistar Koi. And yeah, that's it for my esports.
All right. Thank you very much. I don't know what else I can add to that since I know fuck all. But that is it for today's show. Thank you everyone for being on this ride. Thank you, Kojo, for your news and information. And that is all. We will catch you guys next time. And once again, please like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.